Hey peeps, so I haven't done a video in like a while, and what inspired me is that I haven't actually shared my favorite movies. I mean, I've shared recommendations, but I never actually shared movies that I personally love that mean a lot to me. There are movies I can watch over and over again and never be tired of. I mean, that's the definition of a favorite movie thing, right? So I was gonna do a top 20, but honestly, that wasn't enough. So I decided to be different for no reason, and I'm actually going to do a 35 favorites list just to be unorthodox. So these are not the greatest movies of all time. That's so freaking boring to me. These are my personal favorites. So please don't judge me. And why don't you just share your own faves in the comment section? You know, the only rule is it has to be exactly 35. So let's not waste any more time. Let's do it. This is actually going to be part one because, like I said, there are a lot of movies and I have quite a bit to say about each movie. So yeah. So number 35 is Run Lola Run, directed by Tom Tykwer, who directed Cloud Atlas, which, I mean, I like better than most people. This is a super fun movie about a girl that has to save her boyfriend in 20 minutes or something bad's gonna happen. No, the movie is not 20 minutes long. The movie loops 3 times, in which each loop she learns from that previous loop that she uses when transitioning to the next loop. Does that make any sense? This movie combines a blood-pumping soundtrack, great cinematography, slick editing, and solid performances to make this adrenaline rush one of my all-time favorites. The ending is a little too squeaky clean, but I still feel like it was earned. Definitely worth a spot on this list. It's awesome. Number 34 is Gattaca. So I saw this movie in high school and I've loved it ever since. It's about a future where genetics is the only thing that qualifies for prosperity in life, so the main character, Vincent, challenges that system. One aspect of this movie that I really love is the retro futuristic aesthetics. It's a great blend of being subtle and realistic at the same time, from the clothes to the cars to the furniture. I didn't notice it completely on my first watch, but it seemed distinctive at some point when I rewatched this movie several times. It's like a more serious version of The World from Brazil. Michael Nyman's score is incredibly memorable, really adds to the film's beauty and semi-optimism. Slavomir Ziyech, who did the cinematography for one of the Three Colors films, brings his A-game, compositing some beautiful shots that still stay in my head. The cast is great, but Jude Law really steals the show, even though this is my favorite movie Ethan Hawke has ever done. It's crazy that this is still Andrew Niccol's best movie, and literally everything he made afterwards is just bad. But regardless, this movie is pretty timeless in my opinion, and still very relevant. It's a movie you notice more of the more you watch it, even if it kind of irritates me a bit that there's like no security cameras in this future setting. Regardless, this movie is staying on this list for a while. Number 33 is Solaris. Definitely not sure how to describe why I love this movie. It's most likely because it feels like a very haunting sensory experience. This movie is bleak and unsettling, and watching this character explore the aftermath of a space station gone mad over a planet's ocean, I don't really see how my viewing experience can be otherwise. I love how this movie is pretty much like a polar opposite of the perspective of 2001: A Space Odyssey. When it comes to the human condition, how humanity and our mental state isn't really ready to expand since it's what limits us. We are our own limit, pretty much. The movie communicates this beautifully by its incredible ambient score and sound design, slow burning pacing. It's incredibly well shot and directed because of course it's Tarkovsky, duh. I love how both philosophical and psychological this movie is, and as somebody that's going to school for psychology, the human mind has always been interesting to me. Definitely not for everybody, but who cares, I love it. Number 32 is Beautiful. So yeah, this is my favorite Inarritu movie. Honestly, out of everything that I've seen and loved by him, this is the one that I still go back to the most. I'm not sure if it has to do with him not putting so much emphasis on his wide angle lens style that he started adopting, but I do miss this gritty, shaky cam style that feels like the world is real. So yeah, this movie is super depressing, cynical, and grim, but honestly, I love it. It has some amazing sound editing, and Gustavo Santaolalla's score is very poignant and memorable. Javier Bardem got Oscar nominated for this role, and I don't see why he shouldn't have been. His character isn't a good person, but he tries to do the right thing, and honestly, you root for him. I mean, at least I did. It's beautifully shot and directed, which balances out the dark elements. So yeah, it works for me, and I've kept it on my favorites list like forever. Number 31 is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Now this is my favorite entry in the trilogy. It has the best battle scenes, the best music, music, the best cinematography, the best camera work, and what I consider to be the best theatrical experience I've ever had. The best example of a trilogy bowing out in the most epic and poignant way possible. Everything builds up successfully to this point, and Peter Jackson goes all out with as much burning passion as he can pour out. And it's a shame that movies of this type don't have this level of quality anymore. It seems like certain regulations and standards have been adjusted, and it feels like a series potential just feels stagnated and uninspired. The entire Lord of the Rings trilogy has given me consistent memories of what made me love this trilogy, and this third entry is the one that I've honestly watched the most. This movie will never get old. Number 30 is Pulp Fiction. Okay, so this is my favorite Tarantino movie, but let me just say right now that Death Proof is my second favorite Tarantino movie, and I will stand by that to the day I die. I'm not sure what to say about this movie that hasn't already been said about it. It's a fantastic movie. Perfected what he established from Reservoir Dogs. Non-linear narrative, sharp writing, and great dialogue. It's just super entertaining and super rewatchable. Much like Gattaca, you notice new things every time you watch it. I also think Tarantino's directing talents are pretty overlooked. Not too much, but just enough to where I feel like it needs to be acknowledged. He's not only stylistic, but intricate and patient with his directing and shot choices. He did what filmmakers in that era were afraid to do, and filmmakers are literally copying and mimicking him, and they're failing. It's a primary example of knowing the rules of filmmaking and storytelling before you break them. Love it, and I can watch it a million times and never get bored. Number 29 is Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. This is the movie that got me into Star Trek, and it made me realize how much Star Trek 2009 missed the mark despite its excuse of being the alternate Kelvin timeline or something. I don't care. This is what I think of when watching a Star Trek movie. The characters are in character but are developed in the film. You can tell they've known each other for years, but the movie doesn't spell it out. The music by James Horner is fantastic, especially considering that this was his first score in a major film. Gene Resher's cinematography is also fantastic and makes the world of Star Trek feel cinematic but still in tune with the series. And Nicholas Meyer proves why he's the best director that's ever directed a Star Trek movie. He's a filmmaker first and knew the priority was to make the best movie that he could, and he succeeded. He really utilized the cinematic language to his best ability. And there's some great filmmaking here, including great shot composition, smart framing choices, and camera work that I feel J.J. Abrams could have learned from, realizing the camera doesn't have to freak out to present tense situations. William Shatner gives his most human portrayal of Kirk that I've ever seen, and Ricardo Montalban makes for a charismatic, intense villain that's been ripped off ever since. And Kirstie Alley as Saavik makes her my second favorite character in the film, and I wish she wasn't recasted after this film because she portrayed a Romulan Vulcan character perfectly. I wanted more of her, dang it. Either way, this movie does action, excitement, and tension perfectly, supported with the more than solid script and an iconic ending. It's staying on this list indefinitely, I'll tell you that. Number 28 is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Another movie I watched in high school and loved ever since. The ironic thing is that I don't really care about politics like at all, but this movie, despite how old it is, addresses real issues going on in Washington, D.C. today. Jimmy Stewart's performance is amazing as an underdog trying to make a change from the inside out. Jean Arthur probably gives my favorite performance in the movie. Both Stewart and Arthur's chemistry is some of the best on-screen chemistry I've ever seen in a movie, honestly. The writing itself is pretty phenomenal and the characters are really strong and entertaining. It's a blast to watch, and even though the third act does get a little ridiculous, I still enjoy this movie thoroughly. Definitely worthy of the list. Number 27 is Roma. This is one of the best examples of how to do a period piece in my opinion. It's not where you set the time, but it's how you present it also, and the movie nails that. Every shot in this movie feels like a vintage photograph. The cinematography is that good. This is followed by amazing directing and writing. I'm also glad that Alfonso Cuarón decided to use non-famous actors for the casting. It just makes the world feel all the more real. This movie is a beautiful experience, and the entire runtime practically puts a lump in my throat every time I watch it. Number 26 is Fantasia. Now, Lilo and Stitch was actually number 1, and this was number 2, but I rewatched Fantasia for another video I did like 3 years ago, and I can't lie to myself anymore. This is my favorite Disney movie. It abandons the usual Disney narrative formula and blends a series of visuals and music together in ways no movie really can. The music and visuals are amazing, and I get sucked in easily from the start. I don't understand why Disney never took this risk again. I mean, they made a sequel, and while I enjoyed it, it didn't really take any chances, but this one is beautiful and lively while being dark and dramatic. It's a great experience with great animation and music anytime I think about it, and it just makes me want to watch it again. Number 25 is An Elephant Sitting Still, a Chinese film about how much life sucks. The movie follows 4 characters, and we follow them through their personal struggles and the goals they want to achieve. Some characters aren't very good people, and others you feel sympathy for despite their choices. The movie is bleak but beautiful. There's some gorgeous shot compositing and intelligent blocking that helps communicate how the main characters perceive themselves and their relationships with others. The tracking shots are perfectly executed, and the performances are pretty incredible. This is a movie that feels like a legit journey that you're participating in. There's so much incredible filmmaking going on that it justifies the nearly 4-hour runtime. There's only one scene that kind of drags a little, but it's a scene that I wouldn't take out, honestly. I'm pretty sure this movie's gonna stay on the list. The ending is amazing. Number 24 is The Blair Witch Project. Now, this is gonna be the weirdest pick for some people, but I really do love this movie. It's not just about being scary, but it's the experience of being lost in the woods. And that's one of my biggest fears, is simply just being lost in the woods, which I have before. Because this movie, I rarely go into the woods alone. This is one of the few found footage movies that feels so real to me. The entire execution of this idea is head above all imitators, in my opinion. This movie is atmospheric and uncomfortable. The characters are a lot more developed than people give it credit for. In the pacing of this movie, it's pitch perfect. Yes, this movie still makes my skin crawl every time I watch it, and it's probably the scariest movie I've ever watched to this day.
So they leave the tent.
Don't leave the tent! Don't leave the tent!
Number 23 is Punch Drunk Love. This was the movie that made me realize that Adam Sandler can actually act. Y'all can keep your Happy Gilmore and your Waterboys. I want my contemporary Adam Sandler films like this and Uncut Gems. This movie is both artistic and hilarious, and Paul Thomas Anderson's direction is consistently top tier. He even said in an interview that fresh off Magnolia, he wanted to make something fun and short, and he still put effort in his film's writing, directing, and details. Like Roger Ebert said, Paul Thomas Anderson deconstructs the Adam Sandler archetypical character in Adam Sandler's usual comedic talents and are used to give him an actual character with emotions, humanity, and complexity, something that it hasn't had prior with his characters. The pacing of this movie is fantastic, and it's such a genuine and fun experience with a lot of heart and energy. Definitely one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best films. Number 22 is Being John Malkovich. This movie is trippy in all the best ways. The first time I saw this movie, it was like the most bizarre and most confusing thing I've ever watched, and I honestly never went back to it. If I'm not mistaken, I think I turned this movie off after like 10 minutes, but when I did go back to it, it slowly over the years got better and better, and I realized that I was actually watching a masterpiece. Spike Jonze is the perfect director for this film, and his collaboration with the incredibly talented screenwriter Charlie Kaufman results in a film that perfectly explores the self, consciousness, morality, and connection. The movie is layered with details that you won't pick up on the first time, and that really does reward rewatches. I definitely don't want to spoil this movie's plot if you haven't seen it, but man, it is such a surreal and resonating experience while being both hilarious and pretty tense at times. Every single performance is great, and Cameron Diaz gave the best performance of her career in my opinion. John Malkovich himself, you can definitely tell that he had faith in the material because his performance really goes beyond the real needed to make the audience believe his experiences. Overall, this movie is incredible and it's worth watching again and again. Number 21 is Taxi Driver. This is my favorite Scorsese film and my favorite Robert De Niro performance, solely because he's not playing the gangster role that he plays later on. Instead, he plays a person with serious mental health issues and he nails the role so well. He's tense while being charismatic. The chain of events that happen cause his character to go into a slow, gradual spiral and is both engaging and difficult to watch. Martin Scorsese's direction is stellar, with cinematography really doing the communicating of this character and the experiences and the perspective of New York. Bernard Herrmann, fresh from working with Alfred Hitchcock, creates a fantastic score for the film, even before his untimely passing shortly after. There's not much to say. This is a phenomenal film and I consider it to be Scorsese's best film.